All right, welcome to the football in the kitchen sink. The kitchen sink is full today with lots of dishes. All right, I'm fired up because oh man, Coach D, assistant coach of the year over here,
Whoa.
just gave me something that just kind of triggered
Threw some fuel on the fire right to start.
yeah, triggered me. Um, well, so and we didn't even have really a New Jersey football as a topic for today, but I'm going to start with it because I'm frustrated with something. So NewJersey.com has their stats up, and then they have the rankings. And I'm not going to go into the rankings because there's probably a whole bunch of things, good and bad and ugly, that are probably in there. But those are what they are. Kudos to the teams that deserve to be in there in the rankings. Statistics. Don't post statistics if you don't have all the statistics. That's my beef with it. And NJ.com has this today. And I sent over the stats. Like we post on Max Preps and we submit our stuff every week to all the reporters and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's something that maybe we could get a better coordination on. I know they tell us to post on NJ.com statistical thing. We have Max Preps. We have all these different things. Everybody should just be using Max Preps to post stats on. It's real easy and it's simple. And using NJ.com platform, and then I think the platform that North Jersey we used to have for the record, it's way too complicated. One statistical platform for everybody to be able to post their stats so all the coaches can be on the same page. And Max Prep should be what everybody should use. Now, if a coach doesn't want to share his stats, that's their prerogative. That's cool. I understand from a strategic standpoint why some coaches don't. It doesn't matter to me, but why some coaches strategically don't want to share their stats. I mean, obviously, that's one of the things that you look at as a coach to get an idea on people. Understood. I'm not that concerned about that. If you watch the film, you'll see who our best players are. But as far as from a statistics standpoint, so everybody's on the same page. Everyone has a fair opportunity. Everybody has an equal chance of getting their kids, no matter where they stand out there. Have one statistical platform that should be Max Preps. And that's the easiest way to do it. And I could care less about Max Preps, the company. I'm just telling you that it should be Max Preps because it's easy. Everybody gets access. It's very simple to use, and everybody can use it. We don't need 5 different platforms for West Jersey, Shore Conference, NJ.com, North Jersey, people, whatever. And then we can see where we compare nationwide if we want to. Again, if you don't want to post your stats, awesome. As a coach, that's your prerogative. As a team, that's your prerogative. If you feel it gives you an advantage not to post them, fine. For the coaches that want to post, like me, who take the time to do it every single week, post on Max Preps, everybody should be posting in one place. And some guys post on NJ.com, some post on Max Preps, some post on NorthJersey.com. It's nonsense. It should all be on Max Preps. That's my rant on this kind of stuff. And the fact that we can't coordinate this is complete nonsense. Coach D?
Yeah, I mean, I brought it up to you today because it was interesting taking a look at when they came out with it. And I looked at the stats from NJ.com, and, I was kind of seeing the same school names over and over again, and waiting for our guys to come up, and they just weren't there. So like you said, I think one statistical platform is the best way to go about it. In my contact with majority of the college coaches that I've spoken to, is they always ask, are your stats on Max Preps? Are your stats on Max Preps? Yeah, we put them on there. So in my eyes, a lot of college recruiters and stuff like that are taking a look at Max Preps. It would just make it easier, and then, like you said, as a coach, it's your prerogative whether or not you want to do that, whether or not you want to post them. But ultimately, I think that one site for everything would make everything a lot easier for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I've been coaching since 2002, and we haven't gotten it right since I started coaching. We didn't, it was more right back in the 90s when we didn't have computers. When I played in high school,
You're just calling it in.
You called it in and you got the stats up there. And everybody called in every week. Now we can't call in because there's no phone number to call. I mean, and now on the winning coaches call and all this other stuff. The bottom line is Max Preps is an easy technology platform. People need to stop creating their own garbage technology platform and just put it all up on Max Preps. We don't need 5 platforms. Okay. And the key is because this is about the kids should deserve the recognition, right, and the kids should have an opportunity. Whoever, I don't care. It don't matter what school it is. Okay. And obviously we coach at our high school. We just think our kids deserve recognition, but all coaches and their kids deserve the proper recognition for the time they put in. We shouldn't have 3 platforms and some guys getting their statistics up and some guys aren't. You want people to use this. You want people to use this platform, this and that. We should have one platform, and all the coaches should agree on it. Maybe that's something we could bring up to the AFCA. I don't know. That might be the way to go. It seems to me if there's a national platform that has all the statistics of all of the teams around the country, you would use the single platform for that.
Why not make it as simple and as verbatim across the board? So if Max Preps is the one that wants to do it, now you can go state to state and now you can look at comparisons and now you can have these, everybody wants to look at numbers, and with analytical becoming such a big aspect of sports nowadays anyway, now it's just an easy comparison across the board. You got 50 states and everybody's plugged into the same thing and bam, there you go. Now is Max Preps the best one to do it? I don't know. They just kind of are the ones that are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, go with it. Why not? I don't see why it should be any other way. Just make it as simple as possible, and let's just do it that way.
It should be the platform that New Jersey shouldn't be using the different platform than Pennsylvania. Everybody should be using the platform that we agree upon for the most part, which is Max Preps, without anyone even have to make it. Why does New Jersey have to have different stat platforms? It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. It makes
right. It's definitely something we can bring up to our New Jersey Football Coaches Association.
It makes no sense. And when I get this video, I'm going to send it out to every single coach, and it makes no sense. If they agree with me or not, it just makes no sense. It's logic. And if you don't want to post your stats, cool. Don't post your stats. But if you do want to post your stats, some are on NJ.com. Every conference has different things, like the one I'm not posting on 5 different platforms. It just doesn't make any sense to post on 5 different platforms. That just is just ridiculous. We have enough things to do as coaches that we don't need 5 platforms to post stats to. We need one.
Well, our viewers can thank me and blame me for your early rant going off on the first segment of the day, because I brought that up to you and bam, he's coming in hot, folks. But listen, I understand, because look, when you're the guy that's doing the stats every week in and week out, you're putting the time in, and then obviously you don't put that time in to do the stats for no reason. We put it in for our players, we put it in for us as coaches and things of that nature, to put guys in positive situations. So when you're putting the time in and you're doing all that stuff, and then you see, the largest, reporting agency, or media outlet as far as NJ.com is concerned, reporting the wrong stuff or only the information that they're provided with when, the other stuff is out there is ridiculous, So at this point, I think, like you said, we need to come.
What happened to reporting? If you're a reporter, how about go and look at all the sources available to find out where the stats are? That is absurd.
And to me, any reporter who's covered, high school sports,
there's 9,000 reporters in the state.
They know
they can't get them all together and say, "Hey, we have all the stats here." We get together for an all division meeting and pick our top players and take the time to do that. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And
and especially in a year like this, where actual physically going to games and reporting from the sideline and stuff like that was so difficult
for the handful of reporters that still go out to games. There's a handful. In the old days, there were reporters going to every game. Every game. Now there's they pick and choose. But some of them still go out there. Thank goodness some of them still go out there.
And look, I understand this year is
Thank
different.
For Jersey, down the for us, Shore Sports Network does an awesome job. Jersey Sports.
There is really good coverage down here. I'll give you that.
What's the one Mr. Krampanis is?
And listen, we don't have to pay for subscriptions for our stuff.
Oh, okay, good. Well, that's good news for me. I didn't know that.
You know what I mean? Like when you go up north and you click on some of these articles or things you want to read from Varsity Aces or Daily Record or any of this stuff that's, NorthJersey.com. Like
I gotta pay for every single subscription. I gotta have 5 different subscriptions so I can look at the Asbury Park Press, so I can look at NJ.com.
NorthJersey.com. Yeah.
NorthJersey.com. I have to have 3 different subscriptions.
It's and everybody wants to do all this online reporting stuff. Yeah. Like I get it, especially in the times this year. Like absolutely. But don't you think that would add more of a element where everyone get together collaboratively and talk about this stuff?
Internet connection, move closer.
I don't know. No. Oh, you're frozen. Did we lose you, Coach?
Back in here. Can you hear me, Coach? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, did I lose you? What'd they do? Did they edit us? Did they cut us off because we were talking about the media outlet?
You get that? How about that? My internet went out, so I had to go to my laptop. See, that's what happens when you raise controversy. You raise controversy.
Right away, they cut you off, man.
The media, the big media, cut you
off. All right, we better move on to something different.
No way. Oh man, no. Obviously, we can.
Coincidence? I don't know.
So yeah, see, you know what I'm saying? Big media always watch it. I know they're watching me, so
Big brother.
I got a lot to say. I got a lot of stuff out there. All right. So yeah, I mean, honestly, to summarize my point, I'm sure it all has to do with constrained resources. But part of the reason why they have constrained resources is because they're wasting their time charging people $1 for a month in 3 different sources, and people don't want to pay for that. Just to FYI, you'll get more people paying as sponsors versus the little subscription money you're going to get. Yeah, they're not getting that much subscription money. I mean,
how many people are really paying to read an article a week?
Yeah, I pay for Netflix. I'm not paying to read 1 article a week or 2 articles a week on one of these sites. And most people, most people are like us, is my guess. I don't see too many people paying to read 3 articles a week. They come out with a great article on Rutgers once a week. I can't read it because I'm blocked because I got to pay $1 subscription. And I also would have to, if I wanted to watch the other slant of it on NorthJersey.com, got to pay $1 a month there, and then I got to pay $1 a month over in each place. But it's not, I don't know. Maybe it's a resource thing. I don't know if that's what the issue is, but
it's frustrating for people that want to get involved and want to stay involved and stay up to date as much as possible. Not even so much just in general. You don't even have to be a sports fan or anything like that. It's
everybody knows the stats about Max Preps. Why can't you go and pull it up and copy and paste the spreadsheet of stats that are listed there?
Look, when my buddy from Florida says, when he looks, he's like, yo, I was looking at your stats on maxpreps.com. I'm like, all right, so now here you are. You're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, comparing your high school team stats to my stats in New Jersey. Like,
how about this? Why not call Max Preps up, NJ.com said you built your own stats, or NorthJersey.com said you built your own stats thing, and say, hey, is there an API that I can pull the stats from Max Preps into my database? So if people put it into a different spot, everybody can get a poll.
Or hey, how about let's start a relationship between the two of us? So now, like, not only are we covering football, but now you can handle our stats for our entire sports, all of our high school sports.
And then this is technology, okay? And those of you who don't know, I did my MBA in management of technology. That's why I know all this stuff and was once a tech guru. Anyway, before
I still think you're pretty good.
But all you have to do is build an API from call Max Preps that allows it to call Max Prep stats, pulls it into your database, and you'll have all the stats from all the people in New Jersey that put it in on Max Preps. Coordinate that with what when that comes in your database, it'll be populated alongside the ones that people put in NJ.com. And if we're really smart, we then get that to work with NorthJersey.com's database, and it becomes one happy coordinated database. And if you want,
makes life easier for everybody.
And if you want me to coordinate that project, no problem. I'll call a bunch of programmers that work overseas, and we can get them at a very discounted price, and it can be done for you in probably 48 hours.
Done deal. There you go. One-stop shopping. Everybody's done. Everybody knows from North Jersey to South Jersey, You
probably can get it done for the same price in the United States in 48 hours as well, possibly. So, and probably at a reasonable price is my guess. You may not even have to go offshore.
I just think it's frustrating when I'm trying to look at something and I'm trying to see, all right, well, the short conference leading rusher was so-and-so. Wait a minute, what? Or so-and-so led the conference.
Like we know that the quarterback from Freehold has a lot of yards. Schuler.
He was number one.
Schuler, Calhoun's the running back. Schuler's the quarterback, right?
Let me see. Short conference football.
Was it Schuler?
He's a Freehold Borough kid.
Schuler, yeah.
I think right. He was the leading. Yeah. I mean, look, when I'm looking at, when I know that one of my players has a certain number of sacks, and then I look at the statistical leader in sacks and no, that's not anywhere near it. And then my guy's not even on the list. Like, there's a problem.
Right. And then I'm sure, and
then when I'm seeing the exact same teams, names, guys,
it was on the list. That means the Rumson put their stats in there.
Correct. And Freehold Borough put their stats in there. Colts Neck put their stats in there.
Who else put their stats in there?
Colts Neck was another one.
Put their stats in there.
Red Bank Catholic.
Right. What were they all
Matawan. Yeah, look, I mean, Keyport.
So how many teams on the shore would you say probably put it in there? Half?
Well, I'm looking at shore conference only, and then when I'm just looking at shore conference only statistics, I'm seeing the same teams over and over. when the leading tackler is from Freehold Borough, and then you have 2 Matawan guys, 2 Rumson guys, another Freehold guy, Matawan guy, Rumson, Freehold, Matawan, like it's the same names over and over and over. So only those schools that are in there obviously got calculated into this list of statistics. So,
right.
Okay.
So there's your tip of what you can do. There it is right there. All right. Moving on. Moving on.
Oh, Coach, you make me laugh.
Yep.
Well, you can stay on the same type of thing and talk about, I know we got some other things to talk about, but if we want to stay in the same world, they also released NJ.com their final group rankings, 1 through 10 for each group size. And obviously those are kind of hard to whatever, because they're records. They're based on records. So if you're talking about, and I do see a lot of Shore teams in this.
Yes, because I think I
see a lot of South Jersey teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
obviously I go to our group size right away, and you're talking Group 3, State of New Jersey, Wall number 1, Somerville number 2, Nutley number 3, Rahway 4, West Essex 5, the Purple School up the street 6, Burlington 7, Riverdale, little blast from your past 8, Newark West Side, Coach Bell number 9, and then Ramapo at 10. But as I'm going through, I'm looking at I'm looking at the amount of games played. I'm looking at records, So you're talking 7-0, 7-0, 6-0, 5-1, 6-0, 5-2, 6-1, 5-1, 5-1.
Where's Homedale?
Not in the top 10. Group 3. See, this is statewide. This is not right.
Group 3 though, right? Group 3.
Yeah, Group 3 statewide. We're talking about Wall and Rumson as the only 2 Shore Conference teams in that top 10.
Read me after. Who's number 1?
Wall.
Right. Number 2.
Somerville.
Okay. Number 3.
Nutley.
Just read me who Nutley played.
Now you're asking questions for my my whatever. But just keep. Rahway was 4. Rahway was 4.
Rahway.
Nutley was undefeated 6-0.
I want to know who they played.
I know they played Belleville last game of the year. I know that. West Essex was 5. Always have a ton of respect for West Essex. I love them. Love that guy. The Purple School up the street 6. Burlington. Didn't we watch Burlington last year for some reason?
Yeah, we did. Listen, I'll tell you who should be number 3. Number 3 should either be Rumson, Homedale, or Raritan.
Raritan and Homedale aren't even in it.
Okay, so here's who Nutley played. And I have great respect for their head coach, by the way. He recruited me when he was at Princeton. I think he's back there again, DiGregorio. Great man. All right. But in all fairness, they beat Newark Westside first, 31-18.
Okay, who is number 9?
If they want to play us on the schedule, be glad to play them first game. I don't care. Orange, 21-20. Milburn, 42-7. Teaneck, 42-0. Columbia, 26-14. They didn't get to play Riverdale, which would have been game.
That's the number 8 team.
All right. Well, Riverdale's always good. And then Nutley. And then Max Preps has to do their ads, 9,000 ads on their website. For God's sakes, place your ads in a better position. Every time I go on your website, I don't want to have sound of your car that you're selling from Chrysler or Cadillac. I mean, come on, man. Like,
gotta make a dollar anywhere you can, Coach.
Can't it be like a little bit more like less invasive?
No, it's got to pop up right in front of you. That's why one of my favorite
I have never bought anything from Max Preps. I'm not going to buy a car.
One of my favorite websites, footballscoop.com. I love it so much, but I can't stand going to it because of the pop-up ads and the amount of ads. It takes so long.
The pop-ups. He's a great guy too. Send me your technology business. I'll fix it for you.
Oh, Coach. I know. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Football Scoop. Hold on. Why does football? I guess because it's a
Football Scoop.
Because it's a mom and pop shop kind of.
Right, and because they refuse, or they I don't know if they refuse or whatever. But why don't they look to get out of that? Yeah,
have one big sponsor, or two big sponsors.
Well, you see, that's where, your business savvy comes into it, is you kind of look at it that way. Whereas some of these guys, they don't think that way because maybe they really are just X's and O guys, or they're just journalists, or there's something. But there has to be a business department for it. I don't understand.
No, they're a small company, not a business department. I can tell you, because I run a small business. Okay, I am the business department. So that's just how it is. But
I get it.
Why does Max Preps have to have that pop up? I'm trying to. I'm going to showcase your site, and then
I finally got you calmed down. And then bam, he gets all fired up.
Fired up today. Woo!
There we go.
What other world problems do we have to solve? What other world problems are there today? Are there
That's why we're doing this, so we can solve them all.
Any other world problems? World peace? What is the climate change?
A vaccine?
A vaccine? And coronavirus?
What else do we got to do? I don't know, man. It's the little things. I mean, as we speak, we got an NFL football game going on currently.
So let's go to Kirk Herbstreit's comments, because I think you'll like this.
Big Ten, brother.
He apologized 9,000 times because that's just how he is.
He's very apologetic.
He's very emotional.
And he lived this season, just a back note on him. He lived this season a little differently, not only as a big-time sportscaster and whatnot, TV personality, but he also had a son who was a senior going through all this, playing high school football. So he lived it as a dad. I think it's his youngest, because he did have the other sons that were both on Clemson. But this year he lived it as, his son was a senior. So he lived it in a different viewpoint. So he's looking at this in a whole different type of, he's not only being that sportscaster or that big name guy, he's also looking at it from a dad perspective, All
right. So here's what Dad Herbstreit said. He played at Ohio State, so this is why.
So he's got a little bit of that blood. He's still got that Buckeye in his blood.
Oh, yeah, that's why this is controversial. So he had apologized because he suggested that Michigan could use the coronavirus pandemic as an excuse to dodge a scheduled game with Ohio State.
You can't exactly say that, but
that's what he said. And then Michigan, I'm
sure they went off right away.
Blah, blah, blah. He suggested the Wolverines didn't want to play Ohio State in order to keep their arch rivals out of the Big Ten championship.
Right, because we said that they would, in order for them to be in the to be eligible for the college football playoff and all that stuff, postseason, whatever, they need to play a certain number of games. And Ohio State not playing Michigan would now put that in jeopardy, correct?
Correct. Here's his quote. I still think Michigan waves the white flag, potentially avoids playing Ohio State next week, and then they'll potentially get a game on the 19th. Michigan could opt out basically of that game and keep Ohio State out of the 6 games to qualify the Big Ten championship. That doesn't make sense to me. Then his retraction.
Oh, he printed one of those.
And then he did a selfie, whatever thingy, video. I had no business at all saying that. I have no evidence of that. It was completely unfair to the University of Michigan, to Jim Harbaugh, to players and coaches, and I just wanted to apologize.
Just own it.
Well, he did kind of own it, and then he went through a couple other things where he talks about the COVID and yeah. Anyway, so my thought on it is that Herbstreit as an Ohio State alum.
Well, obviously that's a bad look. Anytime you're talking Ohio State, Michigan, you're talking probably the biggest rivalry in college football, dating back to God knows how long. And it's definitely something that those two teams go about it back and forth. But in my eyes, a rivalry consists of both teams winning at some point. And since Harbaugh's been there, he's never beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
So obviously tensions always run high.
Rutgers had him.
Right. And tensions always run high with these two programs going back and forth, and look, I understand that, Kurt Herbstreit, he's trying to do, his due diligence as far as he's trying to be even keel, as play both sides. He's trying to be that sportscaster, not taking sides, but oh man, it's all good. You could say what you want. He apologized, he owned it, but if that's the way he felt, that's the way he felt. Let it go.
I don't think any coach, in all fairness to Michigan here, I don't think any football coach, I could be wrong, that has a game on their schedule isn't going to prepare for that game to the best of their ability and wants to play that game, and their kids want to play the game. So I don't buy that. I don't buy Herbstreit's comment for a second.
No team is ducking.
Obviously, Ohio State is better, but I don't buy that for a second.
I don't see anybody not wanting to play a game.
Exactly.
Because or using and then to use a worldwide pandemic as an excuse, like, come on. I don't think that's how it's working. You know what I mean?
That's not happening.
No. I just don't think that's how it's not going to happen. Now, look, is it a big time rivalry? Yes, and does it kind of look that way? Yeah, the look's bad, but I don't think that's what it is. I mean, as it is, Michigan shut down they canceled their game this weekend against Maryland, and they shut down their facilities till Monday. So Michigan's not doing anything. They'll obviously revisit it early in the week next week and see where they're going to go from there. Maryland is slated to play Rutgers on, I believe, the 12th. Is that? Let me see, the 12th. Yeah, so the 12th would be next Saturday, not this Saturday, the following one, So how does that work? Maryland released statements saying, look, we're going to continue to practice and we're going to get ready for Rutgers. So let's go.
Wait, okay, so that's what they're doing. Right, so Michigan is shut down this week, you said, right?
Right.
Okay.
So then Monday they'll look at it again, and then next week's their game against those guys. So we'll see if they play it. If not, look, I don't think any coach is wishing any type of cancellation on anything.
No, it's just
it's just what they're saying. You know what I mean? It's just not,
strange world
happening.
Absolutely.
Everybody's going to want to play as many games as they possibly can.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's go to my I guess these two relate to each other. So the 49ers are playing 2 home games in Arizona.
Good thing home field advantage isn't really a home field advantage this year, huh?
Yeah, how about the fact that wow, we had a lot of people watching live my rant that dropped off by everything else.
Well, dude, if you ever watch the Michael Kay show, they have a running tally for Don LaGreca. How long since the last Don rant? The last one he ranted about was people's obsession with Tiger Woods, and they're never going to let it go. So there's a little thing in the corner of the screen, and it's days since LaGreca's rant.
What was his rant on Tiger Woods?
Well, he hates golf. He just despises golf on a whole other level. And the fact that people are so infatuated with Tiger Woods, on such a level, he just lost it. But when he loses it, like
Tiger Woods is awesome. How can they?
I agree.
I mean, he's the most exciting thing in golf.
But that's just one of the things he rants about. Like he's also a Don Bosco Tech guy. That's where he's from.
What sport did he play?
Baseball, I believe he was a baseball guy. But he's older. He's like a big hockey guy. I don't know. I love that show. I love the Michael Kay show. Listening to Michael Kay, because he's just so different. Everybody just thinks he's like this Yankee announcer baseball guy. Like he's the most.
Wait, so Don LaGreca's on with Michael Kay?
It's Michael Kay, Don LaGreca, and Peter Rosenberg. And Peter Rosenberg is like the third one and just fits no mold of anything. He's actually on the radio. He's actually on Hot 97 in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's a that's right.
He's like a he's like a VJ or DJ.
I can't watch that. I can't watch that nonsense.
But I just like listening to Michael Kay, and I think he's very good at what he does. He's very opinionated, and I mean he comes out with some things, and you're like, what? But yeah, they have Don's rants, and that's what brings audiences in.
Yeah. No, he's good. He's good with the Yankees.
That's it.
He's good with the Yankees. What was I going to say? So they're playing in Arizona.
Right, because Santa Clara County, where
what is it? They can't
shut the county down for 3 weeks. Any professional or college team, anything indoors, any type of gatherings, everything is shut down for 3 weeks, which not only does it mess with the 49ers because they're supposed to have 2 home games and their practice facility is in that county, but Stanford is in that county. And so that you're starting to mess with that.
They're not able to play. They haven't played. They barely played any games that it is.
Pac-12. Like I know Arizona State's coming off a game, and they're supposed to be playing Arizona this weekend, and that's a big thing.
All right, so Stanford is expected to relocate football team to the Pacific Northwest due to county sports ban. They're going to go to Washington.
Stanford to Washington, because that's right around the corner.
Stanford, I guess they're going to go to Washington to play. They're going to play at Washington on Saturday against Oregon State. That's interesting.
But it's technically supposed to be a Stanford home game, right?
What about Cal?
Cal might not be in that county.
Cal. You're right. They're in Berkeley. You know what? Berkeley, no one knows half the time what's going on anyway.
California is a different beast, bro.
Oh, Berkeley. Have you ever been to Berkeley?
I've never been.
I've been to Stanford. Actually, I went to Stanford because when I had the agency, we were looking at Devin Cajuste from Stanford. It was the tight end receiver, and we were hoping to represent him, but we did not get him. And we went to see, in that game, they played UCLA, and we were also talking to, but we did not get him either, Devin Fuller from Old Japan. Great player. Whose
brother is killing it right now.
Who's a star.
He had 2 picks the last game.
Yeah, star in the NFL. Jordan Fuller.
Both Old Japan guys.
Yes. So Old Japan, the best football game, high school football game to date that I've ever seen. Although I've been in some good ones, but actually personally watched and not coached, and I'll say. Because I've been in some doozies. But because that walk-off last year with Laughlin was pretty amazing.
That was insane.
That was pretty amazing. And then, unfortunately, we lost to Riverdale in the state championship in overtime. That was a wild game. But as a spectator watching, the greatest game that I ever watched was 2 quarterbacks battling it out, Devin Fuller and John Robertson from Paramus.
That's right. I remember you talking about this. He went to Villanova, correct? That was Paramus, correct?
That was the semifinals. I think it was the semifinals.
what group were they? Group 3, I guess, or 4? Would they have been 3 or 4?
3.
I think they were group 3 at the time, but I'm not sure. It was unbelievable. When I say unbelievable,
You got two freak shows battling it out, just going back and forth, throwing haymakers.
I think the running back for Old Japan was Brandon Gregory's son, who was an assistant at Old Japan. I think he was the running back, and then Devin Fuller was the quarterback, and then John Robertson. I don't remember the other guys for the team, but I remember that Old Japan had this. This was my impression of it. Old Japan had Devin Fuller was amazing, but I think it was Gregory was the running back. He was really good too, really good. John Robertson had Paramus on his back, chucking the ball around.
Yeah,
it was amazing, and running. It was amazing though, because every time Devin Fuller broke contain to the outside, it was literally a touchdown. It was
well, listen, I had to play both of those teams. What year was that? That had to be like what, 2009, 2010?
Probably somewhere in that time frame.
Right, because that's when I was at Passaic Valley, and I had to see both of those teams. I had to see Paramus and Old Japan regular season.
Yeah, that
was 2010.
And John Robertson,
season.
I think, went on to win the didn't he win the Walter Payton?
Yeah, the FCS.
And then Devin played at
Safety.
That was pretty crazy.
And then his brother ended up going to Ohio State.
Right.
You're talking about two freak show athletes.
Devin and Jordan's father, Mr. Fuller, who played, I think, at TCU, I want to say, he was awesome. He used to put the stats in to Max Preps, mind you. Max Preps is where he put the stats in for Old Japan when I was there as an assistant. So,
and when Robertson went to Villanova, he ended up, your guy from Palisades Park ended up backing him up.
He was there, yeah. So Robertson was probably a senior when he was a freshman. De Silva was a freshman, is my guess.
Still cool.
Because the quarterback ahead of De Silva was Bednarczyk. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
He was the quarterback for DePaul, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Big, huge guy. Like tall. I think he was from Wayne, I want to say. But I think he was from Wayne and went to DePaul. I can't remember now. But yeah, Bednarczyk was huge guy. He was a good runner. Good
dual
throw.
threat.
Yeah, I think he started after Robertson, but I'm not 100% sure.
I can see that.
They had some good quarterbacks. That's interesting. 3 quarterbacks from North Jersey they had on their roster. That's crazy.
Well, Villanova always does, and now look at it. You got the kid, the Hyatt kid from Wayne Hills.
He's playing receiver, right?
He went there as a slot receiver when both of his brothers were at Rutgers. I don't know if they're still there.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you, that kid from Wayne Hills was an absolute freak show. When we played them in 2018, first round of the playoffs when I was at Mount Olive, that kid literally just, so you had him playing receiver, and then the other receiver was Njoku, the youngest.
Right.
UCLA.
Is he at UCLA? That's where he's at.
So you pick your poison on that one, and that one kid, I mean, the Hyatt kid had a kick return for a touchdown. I mean, I never seen anything like it in my life. I think he literally I think every guy on our team had a shot at him to tackle it. Nobody even touched him. Like, he was literally bouncing off of people, just spinning everything. It's just crazy.
He was darn good. So that's interesting. Nice little tangent off. So 49ers are playing nowhere near where they're from. Another
Wait, so the
scam.
Niners are so the Niners now have, because it's not like it's 3 weeks, but they're obviously on the road for one game.
Don't get all nervous because I coughed a couple of times.
Oh boy, you're in the zone today.
I'll be all right.
You're in the zone, but San Fran has to play. You're losing 2 home games, but you're also not allowed at your facility.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and then the Cleveland Browns shut down their facility today.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the NFL. I don't know. That's a difficult situation there. Do you know the only team? I don't want to jinx them. The only team that has not had a case of the C virus in their facility, I guess players or facility. I'm not sure which it is, but has not had it. Can you name it?
No, I don't want.
Quiz of the day. You'll have to figure out what my quiz answer is today. There's your quiz of the day. Can you name it?
Local?
Not local.
AFC or NFC?
AFC.
North or south?
Are they in the northern part of the country or the southern part? Using the Mason-Dixon line as the
go across the middle of the country, north or south?
North.
East Coast, West Coast?
West Coast.
Ooh, AFC West Coast.
I was told this by my father, and I looked it up. It's true. Now,
and it's the only NFL team to not have a case?
Yes. Let me just fact check that one to make sure I'm right.
San Diego?
Yep. No, I'm right here. No. I mean, you had 4 teams to pick from. Seattle.
They're in the AFC. They're not in the AFC.
Oh, are they NFC West?
Bro, you're killing me. How am I supposed to get something right?
Wait a minute. Seattle's not in the AFC anymore?
They're in the NFC.
Wasn't Seattle in the AFC?
Come on, man.
When did they move to the NFC? In the 2000s?
Oh, yeah, after Sean Alexander. Oh, man.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Pete Carroll doing his thing, man. I love that guy.
Why was I – didn't they used to be in the AFC? No. Yes.
Never.
Yes, Seattle Seahawks were in the AFC.
Maybe back in I don't know when they had Bosworth or something.
I think. That's when they collected. That's when they collected football cards and actually looked at what conference they were in.
You know what? And I actually just put this together. Is when we do all division, because you look at it, the NFL when they do, it's the AFC and the NFC conference. And then all the other smaller stuff is the divisions.
I'm going to read this to you.
I just put that together. That's why we do it high school wise like that. All division, all conference, all, whatever. Because the conference is bigger than your division.
Yes.
I put all that together today. That's big for me.
The Seahawks, that's a good thing to get. You get right. The Seahawks had been a member of the NFC West in the inaugural season in 1976, but moved to the AFC West in 1977.
77.
They won the AFC West in 88 and 99 and then captured the NFC West from 2004 to 2007. So they moved after I was no longer a kid, and I only pay attention. And
yeah, you don't even watch. You don't.
I'm a Cowboys fan.
God help you.
I live in New Jersey, so I only pay attention to the NFC East.
The best division in football.
At one time was the only true division in the NFL. Now it is maybe the worst division in the NFL.
Maybe.
Worst
The
division.
winners, the Giants are in first place. They're 4-7.
This year, it's definitely not one of the better divisions.
They're-
It's the worst division. I guess I get it.
Look, technically, New Jersey has the 2 worst NFL teams in the freaking country.
No, well, the Giants aren't the worst.
They're in the bottom 5. I mean, you have the Jets who are just horrific in every facet.
Don't. I wish my son was down here. Don't be getting.
I know Troy gets upset. I saw him wearing his jersey at tennis the other day.
He wears his jersey every other day.
How'd you do that?
I said, the Darnold jersey's out. You know, only player he knows on the Jets, Sam Darnold. But
well, you're gonna have to get him the new Sam Darnold jersey when they trade him.
The problem is I said you're gonna need next year to get a what's his name?
Look, you're either gonna get
Clemson.
Yeah, you're gonna get you're either gonna get his jersey or Justin Fields.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get one of those 2 jerseys because that's who's gonna start probably. But I don't know. What do I know? Who knows?
Who's gonna be the coach?
Maybe Darnold turns it around and starts lighting it up and forget it.
There's no way to let him do that. They're banking on a number 1 pick, dude.
Yeah, poor Darnold.
Why do you think they haven't fired Adam Gase yet? He's their best chance to lose.
Yeah.
Remember what happens when you fire somebody? They get all jacked. Team gets all jacked up. They're going to go out and win a stupid.
Win 3 games. Right. They win 3 games they shouldn't have won.
Right.
All right. So let's see.
He's all fired up.
Who is?
You.
Oh, having a great day. It's fun.
I set you off with the stats thing, man.
Come on.
I knew it was going to get you going too, because when it comes to statistics, you get you tighten up with stats because that's important. Like, and I get it. So like when and just people being just when there's an easy way to do things and people choose to do it a different way or make things harder, it's frustrating.
The problem is they think they made it easier. That's the problem. So they didn't obviously have a conversation with the coaches because they think they made it easier.
Well, that's the other thing is I think there needs to be transparency between media and coaches, because why do you not want to be on the same page? Like, in order for you as a media person to get your job done, you have to be on the same page as we are. Like, you want to be friend. Like, how many media guys get where they're going when they go at a coach?
I think they do. Here's the problem. The problem isn't that they do. I think they would like to get it right. My guess is a lot of these guys are part-time. There's not that many full-time guys anymore because
absolutely not.
Newspaper business is squashed because they're trying to squeeze you for $1 a month.
Oh God!
On every article that you read, it's, the Wall Street Journal. I'll pay the price subscription for the Wall Street Journal. Makes perfect sense to me why they would charge online. I don't agree with I don't pay for the New York Times and that charges online. And they have a lot of, even though there's a lot of things I don't like that they have, but they have a lot of articles that come out that are, I guess you would say, world-based stuff, right? I wouldn't pay for that. But the Wall Street Journal has different information relative to financial that's my interest. So I would, the Financial Times, if I use the Wall Street Journal, but if I was interested in the Financial Times, I would pay for that. I would, when people pay for 24/7 sports for their subscription to get the in-depth stuff, well, I understand why they do it. They go on the boards. They go on the message boards. There's whatever those guys do. They sit there and BS about nonsense on the message boards, right? So I get why they would do it. I don't know why some of the local ones want to charge. I understand why they want to charge. The value that has to be given has to be more than a 2-paragraph article for people to pay $1.
Right. It doesn't warrant it for that.
And you know what? If you actually had stats, and I knew you were going to have stats in every single person, and if I knew that you really had some sort of formula where you were ranking not just and maybe this is why people have a problem with the NJ.com. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with their overall ranking because that's probably easier to do. But, the top 10s by group, their stat. If you want people to pay the money, man, you got to put in the effort to know.
Yeah, why don't you give them a product that they want?
Which teams are really, really the best teams. And I'm not just saying it because I'm in the Shore Conference now. I've seen how good the Shore public schools are.
Hell yeah.
Shore public schools are very, very, very good. And I coached in North Jersey, and I had a public school that went to the state championship. I coached at other teams that won state championships and been to the state championship. And there are some teams that are really, really good in North Jersey, but there's a large breadth of public schools in the Shore that are really good.
Hell yeah.
And it's a large amount. And North Jersey has I think the top end is very good.
But there's a lot of,
But I think because every town has a high school, and then, yes, the parochials do pluck in North Jersey a lot more top players than in other places. So because it's much more – the dynamics are different. North Jersey is very close together. Everybody lives very close together. It's a lot easier to get around.
There's not many regional high schools like down here where you're spread out.
The Shore, I mean, you literally live one town away. You're 10, 15 minutes from another high school. There's no point in you stay. Basically, you're going to stay in your town because that makes sense. Because what are you going to travel 50 minutes to go to school?
Why? Why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Like now, they're in New Jersey, you might travel 50 minutes because of traffic, but your mileage might only be like 3 miles. So,
right.
So I mean, I that's just kind of how I look at it, and somehow I've gotten back on the NJ.com. You know what I thought was interesting? So because of what happened to 49ers and all those guys, right? I guess it was because California, which said they're not doing any sports till January, which is similar to what we, I guess, have.
Right, and they had no football.
But they had no football.
And you're talking California, one of the biggest, it's a top three football state in the country. 3
or 4, definitely. Football, just a football season openers were expected January 8th. But that doesn't look likely. So they were going to – now let's think about that locker.
Yep.
January 8th is when they came up with – I got to give credit to New Jersey on this aspect that even though I think we should have just played right away, was smart enough to get the games in and give everybody an opportunity. So regardless, we had a season.
Right.
What is California doing? They were going to start January 8th.
And that's probably practices, right? So what was their first games were going to be February?
No, it said season openers were expected January 8th.
Which means they've been pseudo practicing.
Maybe they're starting now. I guess maybe they were going to start.
That just doesn't even make sense from a calendar standpoint in the fact that, like, what are you going to do? Like practice, take a week off for Christmas and then play a game?
I don't know.
Meanwhile, Florida's, 2 more weeks and they're crowning a state champion after doing 5 rounds of playoffs.
And I think Georgia's pretty similar, and I think Texas probably pretty similar. I'm sure Alabama's pretty similar.
Well, I know Max Preps put out a good graphic the other day on which states are playing football and whatnot right now.
Oh,
as far as here it is right here. So teams that are still in the playoffs right now, the entire Southeast, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Kentucky, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. And then here are the states that didn't play football whatsoever this fall. The entire West Coast: Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, Nevada, New Mexico. No football whatsoever. And then your Northeast was big time. They didn't have it. So Maine, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. Obviously, we saw a direct link with New York, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and Illinois. None of those states allowed football.
What states didn't allow football?
The entire Northeast, pretty much, except for New Hampshire. New Hampshire, right. Pennsylvania, us, West Virginia, Ohio, Indiana, all played football. Our seasons are just over.
Did Ohio play football?
Ohio played football.
Michigan did not.
Michigan didn't. Michigan is in the playoffs right now.
Michigan is playing football.
Yes.
Oh, I thought they weren't at first.
They must have worked something where they did something,
Got it. And then, so Illinois
did not play football.
How about Iowa?
Iowa did play football. They're done.
Missouri? Definitely.
Still going on right now.
So Illinois is the only one. How about Minnesota?
Yeah, everybody else other than Illinois played in the mid.
And the West Coast, Washington.
West Coast, none of the West Coast played at all.
Washington, Oregon,
California, Hawaii, Nevada, nothing.
Oh, Hawaii didn't play.
No.
And
Christ, even Alaska got a season in.
Oh, maybe there is something wrong with me. Okay. That's interesting. California did not.
Coach Van Zyl just commented. Scott Van Zyl used to be Townsend, Monmouth guy, Butler grad. He said Baltimore private school league played a shortened season. He is now the coach down at a private all-boys school.
Oh, they did play. Wait, that was Delaware or Maryland?
That's Maryland.
They played a shortened season?
Yep, played a shortened – Baltimore private school league played a shortened season.
Did DC schools definitely didn't play?
That would be like your Gonzagas and Gilmans. And
did Virginia play?
Good councils. According to this graphic – Virginia did not play. Virginia and North Carolina did not play seasons.
North Carolina didn't play?
Or at least says they didn't play in the fall. So whether they have something in the, moving forward for the spring, who knows? But
kudos to New Jersey. And
we're actually getting something done, because look at New York. I mean, look at how many guys,
Pennsylvania got it done, I think.
Yep. They're in their season's complete. They did something. Hey, thank you, New York, though, because it got us a kicker and a hell of a lineman for next year.
Yep.
Whether that was in the works anyway, because their families moved here, but I'm sure had this not happened, I don't think that they would have been moving out of the city.
Absolutely.
And look, for as much as we complain about the things we complain about, look, were we grateful as hell just to have a season in anything? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we're
but that still doesn't mean that we can't nitpick and do whatever. We're still going to voice.
I'm not complaining about the season. I'm just complaining about making sure we get stats right.
Well,
not hard. So, going. Yeah. So I think we covered. I just want to make sure that for all our small business folks out there, man, you keep pushing. 83% of small business owners support another round of stimulus relief from Washington. Survey reveals. I'm a small business owner. I know what it's been like. I can't imagine. If you're Amazon or you're Walmart, you guys are cranking because everything's online. But, mom and pop who owns a store and their livelihood is around people coming into the store, the bagel shop you go to, The local owner who maybe owns a Dunkin' Donuts, that's an individual owner. Any of those things, man, you got to support them as much as you can because they're definitely hurting during this time. It's not fair to small business owners, and the rich getting richer on this, and the people who need it most are getting left out in the cold. So keep trucking along. Hopefully, while Trump's still here, he does the right thing, and then if it goes over to the new president, then hopefully they make sure they take care of small businesses because it's the backbone and the foundation of America is small business. Anybody doesn't understand that, they don't know what America's about. But that is the foundation is small businesses, 2 and 3 person companies, family businesses, the Italian restaurants you go to, the camp you go to, in my case, the guy who owns the gym, all those things, and I'm leaving out a lot. The guy,
most of these people you don't even know.
Person
who don't even know that they're a small business owner.
Yeah, the people who owns a boutique, where women go
around here, though, tons of those.
So the hair salon, all that stuff. Make sure you take care of those people, man, as much as you can, because hey, I shop on Amazon. I'm not gonna lie, I do, but it's click done. But it's important when you can. I definitely go to my local bagel shop. I like bagels, so I definitely like egg and cheeses. So anyway, but
still Coach, ham to me.
Coach, see your lights going out there a little bit.
Coach, we can add light anytime we want here.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I think the sun's going down.
It is 4:30. So we're in we're in New Jersey. So 4:30 it gets dark now. So seasonal depression will start to sink in soon.
Yeah, well, I think though in like Alaska, aren't they going to the
6? There's only like 3 hours of light a day. No, thank you.
How much light is there in Alaska?
Oh, really? This is what we're looking up now?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't interesting.
Hell yeah, it's interesting.
Today, Alaska.
And the fact that the Steelers are 9. The Steelers are up 9-7.
Oh, the game's on right now. So in Alaska, it is the sun set at 3:50. There was 6 hours of daylight. It's not. It's not bad.
Only 6 hours. That's that's nothing.
Wait, so that means that it didn't get light out till what? What's my calculation here? 10 a.m. It was dark till 10 a.m.
And then it's only going to be light until
3:50. Wow, that's crazy.
It's a different world.
I wonder how much light there is right now in the North Pole for Santa.
That's your guy.
How much sunlight does the North Pole get?
Yeah, does the North Pole receive?
Ooh.
Well, when we titled this thing,
they have all day long summer. It's all day long.
Look, when we titled this thing "Football in the Kitchen Sink," we definitely throw a lot of stuff in that sink.
Oh yeah, I told you. Well, I didn't know how full the sink would be today because I didn't have a ton of stuff. But
I think that just goes to show you that it doesn't. We don't have to have anything, and we could just,
It's like we're like a Seinfeld episode. What's the show about? The show's about nothing. What do you mean the show's about nothing?
Nothing and everything.
Yeah, it's about nothing. So what do you guys talk about? Absolutely nothing. We just talk about nothing.
All right, Coach. I think that's about it. Let's go finish up. I'll catch the entire second half.
Great episode. Hour and 30 minutes about who knows what, man.
Well, I think that the one point you did get across is that there'll be a conversation going forward as far as max preps concerning statistics when it comes to reporting high school stats.
Some centralized platform that you can pull information from. And if you're going to use 3 different platforms, have an API to Max Preps, and if you're going to use the North Jersey one, so everybody gets a centralized set of information. And
one-stop shopping, done deal. Here you go.
Reporters. It'll be easier for the reporters, unless you want to send the reporters out to every game. We're good for that. That'd be great. I miss those days.
I hope that with things going forward in a bounce back year, more of those guys will really start to see, and say, hey, we really need to get 2 more games. And I'm not talking just because you don't need to just go to Big North games. You know what I mean? Go to North Jersey games, go to Central Jersey games, South Jersey games, go to private school games, go to Group 1 games, go to Group 2, 3, 4, go to just go to different games and get a feel for places. You know what I mean?
I bet you if newspapers hired interns that were in college to cover games, they'd all cover it. They probably wouldn't have to pay them a dime as long as they gave them internship credit, quote unquote. Yep. And it's all online anyway. So the report, it's not like you got to be right. You're not writing.
No, it's not something that's going to make or break you either.
Like you used to have in a paper was,
Right. It's not like it's printed in all that it's done. Like, oh no, we made a mistake.
Remember the old paragraph, like the 1-2 paragraph blurb?
The format?
I'm going back to the 90s here, I think. These it'd be like, hey, Dave Schuman rushes for 181 yards and 27 carries versus, I don't know. I don't want to, I can't remember who I did that against. But maybe it was Garfield. I don't know. Garfield.
Oh, God.
Despite their loss 12 to 18-12 or whatever, 12-14-12. They had an article on every team, every game. It was great. It was great. That's what people want. People want to see their team in the paper, all of them.
Right.
Yes, all of it. And okay, we can't do it in the paper. All the blurbs. And I know you can put it online and send an email. I know that's easier. That communication could be so much easier if we just had they want us to go on the NJ.com, but if Max Preps is way easier to put stats in, but even better than that, how about I can just go like this, have a hotline for 2 hours and I go, hey, this is Coach Schuman from Red Bank. Coach Schuman, give me the score by quarters. Okay. 8-0 Red Bank, go through the quarter score and then go through the touchdowns and the extra points. You go through that 5 minutes, boom, you're done. It's great. I used to love it.
You would think.
I just, maybe one day we'll be able to just verbalize it into our phones and then it'll send it to them. You know what I mean? Like a note. Like you go and say,
start that up. There you go.
Boom, 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 and then hit send, and it goes right to the newspaper, and it comes out as a statistic in a database of the exact stats that each one of the people have as you read them and talk to them on the phone. That would be awesome. There you go.
Start it up.
Someone build that.
12-7 Pittsburgh.
12-7 Pittsburgh. They've
been inside the 5 twice and can't score. Pittsburgh. Baltimore keeps holding them to field goals.
What time is tree lighting?
7, I think.
They better not infringe in my tree lighting.
That's it, man. Rockefeller Center. Coach, I'll see you tomorrow.
You got it. Later.